reminded, when we all sit with the elders, the cycle of the salmon and how important that Gold Stream is to all of our people. The dog salmon return. So when it starts to rain, everybody gets excited. The November rain, and it starts to fill up our streams, and we know there's going to be a return. Every year we're reminded of that life cycle. And like us as a people, we're children. We become young adults, we become the adults, we become the elders, and we go back to being that child again. But we're reminded when we're in that child, our opposite of the quadrant is the parent of that child. And as you shift around, as you become the elder, there's somebody across that quadrant that becomes the caretaker of those elders. So there's a fine balance, and unless we know where that balance is and that support is, how do we live with the true meaning of that salmon and the cycle of the salmon?
There's a lot of history here. I mean, we're so closely related, and we all talk about how our grandmothers and grandfathers walked this territory, walked this land, and they talk about where they've walked, where they fished, where they did their living. So it's important to be part of this community because we're embedded in the ground here that they walked in.
I like the water and the mountains. So I used to play both areas as I was growing up. Summertime we'd be down the beach. Fall and good winters we'd be running around up the mountains. And so I enjoy either way. We had our own little trails along the mountain there.
I learned lots from my grandparents as growing up. Yeah. We never eat we eat with seafood. That's all we had, nothing else. We couldn't go to the store because we didn't have money. We can't get a job those days. I wouldn't hire some Indians at all. Went through hard times.
We're one of the 5 Saanich nations, and at one time we were Husanich Chilnuch. We were the first people of the land on the peninsula as we know it today. Probably in the early 60s, late 50s, mid 50s I guess, there was a time where our Saanich nations divided and we started to move. Like you have our neighbors, Malahat, they live across the water. You have Tsartlip down in Brentwood Bay. You have Tseout over in the East Saanich area there. And you also have Tsekum, who's down in Patricia Bay. So we were all made up the Saanich nations at one time, but Pauquachin is the place of cliffs and bluffs. And this is the home to our Pauquachin people as we know them today. And we are acknowledged by Indian Affairs as Coal Bay Indian Reserve.
We never grew up in a household with the language. Both parents were busy out working, trying to just keep food on the table.
Our young people wish to quit alcohol and drugs. I really don't like to see them. I went through it, but I quit and I don't drink anymore. So the younger people should wake up and see what's happened to the hurting the parents and the grandparents.
My concern was education and jobs for our youth.
That many of our people are saying we can't lose our culture, but we must gain the education as well. So we can live in both worlds, as our parents would always say.
I was born and raised here, and I'm a proud Pauquachin band member. And creating togetherness is huge for me. There was a time that we used to walk by each other and not acknowledge each other as relatives or as neighbors.
We had to sit down over the last 3 to 5 years to see where are we at today. If we look at economically, what have we done to raise money for ourselves to try and look after ourselves? 0. What have we done with social development other than raising the amount of social development that we pay out here? Well, that's got to change. Social issues have to change. Education, we were stalemated. We're losing a lot of people not through not graduating, and not graduating loses self-esteem. We start losing different, and the jobs are different now today where you need that education to get the kind of jobs you want.
We just wrote out a big big wave and with respect to change in the community. I'm thinking of the analogy of one of our elders. His words ring so true to me, and I still hold them passionately today. He's saying we need to stick together and hold our canoe into the water. And we're gonna, as a family, gonna ride through and weather the storms that are before us, whether it's calm, whether it's windy, whether it's choppy. We have to stay together and actually get in the canoe and move ourselves forward. And that's what we're doing today, is we are moving our canoe. We've just finished, you picture a canoe riding out a big storm. We now got our paddles in the water and we're moving our canoe forward.
We always say that our elders are our true leaders, and we look at them for guidance. So when we engage with them and we get their support, it makes our job a lot easier. So the change all around is all positive.
Our council, they honor the elders, and that makes me feel so proud. They honor us. They say, what do the elders think about? And they'll bring us in and they'll have meetings with us, and they look to us for guidance. So we're very, very proud of that. Because right now we have young chief and council, and they don't dismiss us. They say, what do you think? The racing is for everyone to participate, whether you're young or old, you know. I mean, it's fun. It's about having fun. It's not about who wins or who loses, or it's not competitive. It's Pauquachin Days. It's time to have fun and just enjoy yourself.
Something that we look forward to every year. We've had it a few years in a row, and it's our Pauquachin Days, and it's about bringing our Pauquachin community members together and to have some fun and to interact with each other, and mostly for the kids who have a great time here. And for me personally, even as an adult, I really look forward to this day because, you know, we don't always have the time to mix in with each other and say hi and find out how things are going, so this is a great way to do it.
1, 2, 3!
Oh my gosh, it's so great. I mean, like, you get to see everybody from the community, and some even not even from Pauquachin come and say hi and just have fun. I mean, like, it's a good thing that we do this. I mean, like, everybody should do this, and everybody does in their own little way.
We enjoy these days, the fun, the enjoyment. This is the good time for our community to come together. We enjoy the people when we see them, because, you know, the kids, they're our future. They're our next generation that's coming in to our leadership here.
Today, you know, we have a different outlook on things in the community where we want our kids to be interact with each other.
I really enjoy it. My kids get to just run around and get to meet everyone from the reserve.
I am here as a former nurse in this community and 9 other communities, and I just want to say that this is a celebration of an awesome community, Pauquachin. Every time I come here, I just keep seeing the strength in this community and the laughter in this community. And this community knows how to celebrate, and this community has a lot to celebrate, and I just want to say Pauq rocks!
As you see, we have clowns and balloons, face painting, hairspray, and they just love it. Little families especially, because some of the teenagers are having children, and it's great for them to get out and have fun, especially for the teen moms too. Like, it's so tough, and I kind of know I have a big family of my own, and I help hold it together, so it's just real nice to have families together on a good day.
You can spread magic love all over the land.
And you want a new pot for that?
We're putting them on the plate, so should we put everything over here? Oh, thank you.
I work in the health field, so I'm kind of the one who organizes a lot, looks after the cooking and everything else to make sure it's healthy. We try and promote healthy eating. No junk foods, no pop, stuff like that, as you can see with what we serve at lunch. And we always try to include our cultural foods for our elders and for whoever wants to have it. And with the help that we had this year, it was awesome.
We bring our community together at large, whether we're First Nations or non-First Nations. Our partnerships in the North Saanich, Sydney area, our health, our policing departments, our employment agencies that are out there, like Safeway. Our different partnerships, we're here today to celebrate sense of community, and that means a lot to me. And just for us to be able to share a table.
Well, I love crab and I love salmon, so when you got those two things on your menu, it's all gravy after that.
Good food that they brought out today, and we like to thank them for the good meal they put in front of us today.
There's such a high rate of diabetes in the community now, obesity, and those are things that we're striving to change, and it's much needed. And for the next generation, for them to not walk around with that disease of diabetes. The health department tries very hard. They distribute good food boxes once every 2 months. They try to look after the new moms with delivering milk and eggs and yogurt or whatever dairy products that they need to help them move forward with their being a new mother. So I think nutritionally we're trying our best, but it's all about resources and what best suits our community.
The land base that we're currently working on, it's not all tied to just this piece that we're standing on here today. It does encompass what we know as Hatch Point, as well as the Kolbe Indian Reserve here in Pauquachin itself. But the total acreage that we have is approximately 600 acres. And we have 384 members currently registered, and obviously, like any other nation, fast growing.
Well, being a single mom, I had to live with my family. They helped me raise my kids when they were smaller. And it was hard, but I was thankful for them to help me raise them as I worked and went to school.
Probably about a year ago, we started dreaming and creating a vision for our community. And the elders come together at a strategy meeting or visions for our community, and they came up with the idea that we are overcrowded, we are needing to deal with the couch surfing, and how do we support the young mums in our community. And at that time, they were giving us as a council a mandate to go ahead and start creating an opportunity, create some dreaming. And that's what we did, is we went back and we challenged our staff and went to Indian Affairs, we went to different partners in the communities, said, what can we do to deal with one of the major problems in our community around lack of housing?
Well, this is always called home for us. My parents grew up, well, my dad, he was born and raised here, so were we. And it's just to be good back in the community, our roots and our culture, and just getting along with everybody else, that we are neighbors.
As you can see, there's 6 units. These aren't 6 units for individuals per se, but it's for all of the families to work together and to work as one. And they have the opportunity to learn from one another and to ask for assistance and support each other along the way. And you know what? It's just staying within our cultural values and not being afraid to seek assistance when you need it.
Gotta make sure it's Tim Hortons. We were glad to get accepted in here. My kids were happy to move back out. And I work out here, so it's just convenient. And we missed all the events when we were living off the reserve. We heard about it after it was all over and done with, so now we could be involved.
The young moms moving in, they felt supported, they felt needed, they felt important, and the opportunity to come home, they're missing the opportunity to be in the village. They felt part of something. So to hear them express that, that was the ultimate feeling that blanketed me.
It's pretty good for all of us mums that made it in here. Just happy we're back here and have this to call home, and everything was all brand new and having a washer and dryer.
I'm really glad we had 6 blocks here for the single mothers, you know. They're happy, they got their own home now. I still live in town, paying the rent in town. You can be paying the rent here. So glad of that too.
Part of that overall vision was to talk about the drug and alcohol use in our communities, and how do we create an environment that is free of drugs and free of alcohol, and creating a safe environment for the children that you see running around and playing here. But also, too, is creating an opportunity for these youngsters to have that visibility of a safe life, a healthy life, and in the hopes that the generations that follow us, the unborn, have the opportunity to see something positive as well. So we're trying to create a legacy.
You know, growing up in their own community here and learning how to be reliable and take care of their home, and that's what I'd like to see, more homes and everybody to take care of it.
It's a low-income housing. They are all paying rent, and the way we are supporting is we're trying to provide services to like parenting, cooking, house cleaning, basic, what do you call that? Maintenance, housing maintenance programs, and budgeting programs, so that people that are in here, they get the opportunity to learn some of those life skills that are much needed in any environment, in any village.
Today we're going to play a new game, and I don't know if some of you might have played this game before. It's called Do you remember? I'm the Head Start coordinator for Pauquachin First Nation, and the Head Start program is a program that targets families who have children newborn to 6-year-olds. And so we have a variety of programs, and it changes from year to year based on the community's needs. So we offer the Infant Development Program, which is a baby group that's newborn to 3-year-olds. We also have a cultural program that's called Siitla Satlits, and that is a program that's offered to families who have children, again, newborn to 6-year-olds. We also have the after-school program during the school months, September to June, and that's offered 3 days a week, and that's for the 4 to 6-year-olds. We have a family program that we partner up with different communities like Sayout and Sycam and Sartlip. So we do parent workshops, parent programs, and in those programs we offer child minding and lunch and transportation, because we offer outside of the community sometimes. Okay, we'll leave the animals on the blanket, Denicia, please.
Yeah, leave it.
Elder. It's an elder, but in Hulkaminam we say Siitla.
Siitla.
Siitla. Find a spot on the blanket for Siitla there?
Huh?
It's a spa. Can we say that? Spa. Yes, Dale, Lamatu. Lamatu, can we all say that? Lamatu. Haichka for your help, Dale.
It was interesting. We were in the middle of a meeting, and there must have been a spider that was creating a web. And that the spider had a goal and a vision to create that web, and he put it and he made his mark. Pretty soon he started to go back and forth, and he was creating a beautiful web that had a design and it had a purpose. And as our meeting progressed and the elder consistently watching what that spider was doing, he was reminded that we can be creating our goals from one place to the next, creating that web of safety, but also too, those milestones where he made those turns in his web are our turns to our successes, and put the people that we need in those certain places so it's not going to be a burden for all of us, that we need to move forward. And You know what? His messages to our community and to us as a leadership, elected leadership today is amazing. And I think we need to acknowledge those when we can, and all our messages are, we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for the people that brought us here. And we can't forget them.
The day they were born, that native language is in them already. But once we start growing up, there's nobody speaking the language, so it's the immersion that needs to be used in everyday life. And there are certain cultures that are happening that the language was still strong. And then I started it, learning it from my uncles and aunts from here, and there were widespread relations. So now I've been in a spot, my dad used to be a speaker, so now I've been put in a spot where I'm not only walking with the language, but I have to start teaching it too. And this is all the basics of a language reading. And I've got Chakoleno, Koshimit, and Satikwalwit, names passed down from parents and grandparents. Yahwalet. That's the eagle. And I've been putting together booklets that are simple, short phrase words that are daily used, because it's immersion is like it has to be used every day, so it's kind of a repetitive that they learn with their parents or with their siblings. Else. When you pronounce that L, there's a, keep your tongue a little bit on top of your mouth. It's really important because it helps teaches youth growing up their identity, their self-awareness of who they are, but it also controls them inside. Some of the language is hard to explain when you've got the language in you, that it really helps you in the outside world if you know the language. It's a Halkaminam, and on the coast it's just a little bit different, Halkamilam. But the kids are grasping it. There's youth from 14 to 17 that are taking interest in it, and it's like they're wanting it just because it's an identity to who they are as they grow up, knowing where their family comes from, their grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and you can go far back to some of the native names what are hereditary. Saspal, Quanit.
It's almost what we call a dying art today. A lot of our children are so wound up, and we're caught up in the peer pressures of today's society, whether it's cell phones, the video games, or Nintendo, or whatever we want to call those games. Our children want to be watching more of the television. And for our canoe carvers, our drum makers, our knitters to spend time and to be able to share their knowledge around patterns and the tricks of the trade, that's something that we need to stop and really study and take into reflection on how we're going to bring that forward. Because I think a lot of the times we're reminded we are not here for ourselves. When you listen to who we are and where we come from and the responsibilities that we have within our cultural setting, everything we do today isn't for ourselves. It's for the children that are yet unborn in our own families.
Spawning salmon, Cold Stream. I started to teach my granddaughter Thea, but she gave up. We used to have a hard time looking for wool. Sometimes my late mom used to just about cry because we couldn't find any wool, sheep wool. Then we used to get some, then wash it, hand it up, tease it, card it by hand. Oh, when I think of those days, now I just buy the wool and start knitting. They used to come around, the buyers from town used to come around. I can name their names, the buyers. They used to fight over our sweat. One time I was just handing out there, and a buyer got there and took it. It wasn't even dry. Boy, they used to fight over there.
Even before I
touch a carver, and you always have to be in a great frame of mind and, you know, have a night swallowing, good feelings. And my father and other carvers always told me you don't touch cedar after 3 o'clock. You gotta get up early and start it. When I started this, I had the inspiration of just being out on a canoe, and I always admired eagles because you always see them all over our beaches. And, you know, I always been inspired by eagles because when I first did my first plaque when I was a young fella, it was an eagle plaque and a whale head. And that was, the fella that started me off is John Elliott when I was in, I believe, grade 3 or 4. I've always seen perched eagles, and I've always been fascinated with seeing them just perched on the beach, or, you know, perched up in a tree. I give this to my brother symbolizing visionary. Like, I look at eagles, or, you know, they can see long distance, and, you know, I look at, you know, either leadership or someone that graduates, or, you know, they're visionary for where they want to go in life or what they want to accomplish. Soapstone is a very good, soft, depending where it came from. All I call this here is Brazilian soapstone. Yeah, in my mind, I already know, like, I have to know that what I have to make. And I would like to encourage a lot of young people to actually pick up a piece of wood. And when I was a young kid, I just said, you know, start fiddling and, you know, just wood chipping, but familiarizing yourself with your knives and the stuff that you can do. This is welcoming, just you're welcome here on our territory.
So everything we do today shouldn't be about us personally. It's not about selfishness, it's about what we leave as a legacy for our children to follow. So if we can pick up, whether it's our language, the tricks of the trade through our arts and drum making and all of those types of things, we all become winners of it. Because you know what? They say when our spirit is healthy, we're healthy. Our mind's healthy, our heart's healthy. And I think that's what we're all working towards.
4 groups of 5. Can you draw that for me right here? 4 groups of 5.
Came from the elders, the youth, the parents, and the little children that they wanted more things to do with their summer, they wanted fun things to do, and they wanted ways to learn and grow. So we came together and decided we would provide a summer school program where they could learn more math, more English, more spelling, more reading, things like that. We would also do it so it would include cultural aspects as well as school skills, so the kids could take this passion and this energy they have and put it towards more learning over the summer to assist them in the school year. So we felt at Pauquachin Nation that if the kids have more learning and they're excited about the learning and taking on new things, that will improve to higher grades, will go to further in school, which could lead to college and university degrees and credits. We could learn to full-time meaningful employment and being positive mentors in the community.
What did you like about summer school? Reading.
Everything.
Doing the math. Reading.
When we went on field trips.
The field trips.
Do you like teaching at Pauquachin Nation?
Absolutely. I had so much fun with these guys. All the different kids that showed up every day, and they were awesome. Kind of expected that we were going to lose a few, and over the summer we ended up gaining more and more kids, so that was really exciting. Yeah, the kids here were really welcoming, friendly, funny. Nice work.
From seeing what's going on, the kids are enjoying it very much. We come in the morning and Ian and Kelly are here, and the kids run up and give them hugs and everything else, and happy to see them. Anything they do, they're willing to play games and do everything and share how their day is going. They've come in and told myself and the rest of the staff how much fun it is, and they're showing up, some of them an hour before school starts, so that shows us they're very excited about being here.
It's a very positive experience, and the kids were great to work with.
And I think the program was really successful in that regard. The whole community was very supportive too, so which made this job a lot more fun and enjoyable.
I want to see, not only my son, but every child in Pauquachin from this generation is to have a better tomorrow. I don't want them having the struggles that I've had growing up. And in Pauquachin, we try to veer away from this dependency. So today we're trying to create those steps where there's something for them to look forward to. So there's that independency on their part, not for anyone to lead them around by the hand, but for them to get the tools to go to school, graduate, go to Pauquachin College, UVic. The sky's the limit.
I come in once a month, sometimes a little more time in between, just to do haircuts for the community.
We have our job coach, our life coach, our off-reserve partnerships for employment and training, and creating opportunities for those that are ready and able to work.
We do a lot of kids and elders and just everyone that needs haircuts.
We work with employment. Some of the things we've done with this band in particular, Pauquachin Band, is we've held workshops on interviews, workshops on some soft skills we've done with them.
I get to know them really well, and I think they do really appreciate it.
I just see improvement coming, and job-wise, everyone is sort of, wanting to get out there and do something. I hear different people talking that they want to get out there and work or go back to school, and nice to hear.
The administration or the band office, we now are turning and saying Pauquachin Leilam, and that is our community home. Two welcome figures stood by the doorway, and they're there for two reasons. One being it gives thanks to the ancestors that walked the land. It's welcoming us too to the environment of that home, and that it's reminding us that we should leave our personal differences at the doorway, and that we should walk in with an open mind and an open heart. Allow ourselves to deal with the issues that are first and foremost at hand. Don't go in there with the negative mind. Don't go in there with the perception that somebody's going to do something or you're being owed something. That we're going to find a solution if there's a problem, or if there's something that needs to be inquired upon, we're going to have that open mind and an open heart to deal with them.
We're a unique community, and I keep saying that. We're very unique because of the way we interact with each other, we acknowledge each other, we look out for each other. And saying whereas, it takes a whole community to raise a child, not only this council believes in that, but we see the community following through with that. So Pauquachin has come a long way in a short while when it comes to being together. And in our language we call it natsama, working as one. So I see that every day now, and it's only getting better. So that's something I'm very proud of.
Yes, I've seen quite a few things changed here. The love between the people for one another, and there are people here are quite friendly. That's what I see that now, and hopefully that keeps on for the kids.
We have learned to help each other.
I'm glad now we finally start moving. All these years we never moved. Looked like we sleeping. We didn't have no good leaders. Now today we have a good leaders today.
Pauquachin's going to be an independent band, because I don't like it when we have to go and ask INAC or Department of Indian Affairs or Health Canada, to hold our hand and lead us around by the hand, right? Nobody likes that. So this council's vision is to how do we get away from that? So one day we're going to stand up and say we're an independent band and we don't need no one's help. We have the resources. It's just getting the right people beside us to work with us to make sure we achieve our goals. So it's all around economic opportunity, and creating revenue into the nation is something that we've never had before, so it's exciting.
We are now in the process of negotiating a few different claims, and that's something this council does not take lightly, and we are persevering, and it's something there's a passion for, and we have our elder support. And what's happened is when we look back to those ancestors that signed those legal documents that allowed these things to happen, it feels like you have all of the people's support moving forward that we need. And there's an underlying message for all of us, I think, and what we're saying is how important that is. And I'm just happy to be a part of what needs to be done for the future of our children.
The excitement is in the air. People are feeling a vision of where we want to be now. So we've set some vision, we've set some goals and objectives, and how can we reach them? So it's only going to get better. There's a big excitement amongst all our community members that we are changing. We are looking at trying to deal with issues that have been part of the past, but how can we turn it around to make it a positive? We're not going away. We'll always be here. That's the positive thing, and that's the excitement I think our people are starting to feel here.
I've seen quite a few things changed here now, and I'm very proud of it. Very proud of what's going on.
To look into the future is to know that our children, our families, our community members know when to use the tides, how to use the tides, whether it's harvesting food or whether it's transporting ourselves or how to play near the water, none of us taking it for granted. That's why we're here. And if we can get along in a healthy environment, mingling and being family, just that would make me happy going into the future. I think that's my role, is to find that commonality and try to be and create that web through that spider's web, or a weave through a swakwat or woven blankets, or however we find that analogy, that one day we all, children, women, young boys, the men and women of our community, we're all paddling and we're all at the shore at the same time. Nobody's going to get left behind. And how do we move those initiatives forward? Time will tell, but the strength's within us. We just need to remind each other and wake up that strength that's sitting there.